We're having some fun here on a Tuesday, trying to get over a bad Broncos loss in back-to-back weeks. And we're going to continue to do that and turn the page tomorrow to get ready for the Cincinnati Monday Night Football game in week number 4. So yesterday I made a statement, and I said, you know what, I'm still confident in the Broncos defense. I still think they have confidence in themselves. Like I said, you kind of looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I was like, no, for real, man, I'm confident in these guys. And then I woke up this morning and I read an article at denversports.com written by Andrew Mason.
Mace is on the case here.
By the way, nice little touch here from Andrew Mason at his post-game report. Standing there, he's got his shirt tucked in, looking all nice. Great view with the end zone in the background.
Right, yeah.
That's cool stuff from Andrew Mason. So he does this on Tuesdays, right? He's got his numbers. Usually it's 3. He did a little extra credit and gave us 4 this week. And it's making me want to at least maybe reconsider what I said yesterday.
With new information comes new opinions.
That's exactly right.
What's your new opinions on the hope for this Broncos defense?
So his first number is 43.9. That's the average net yardage allowed by the Broncos defense on a per-possession basis in the last 2 games. So every time the Colts or the Chargers started a drive, that drive didn't end until about 44 yards later. And Cecil, I'm not the best mathematician. I think Northland High School did me all right. I would say if you gain 44 yards on a drive, you're in scoring range, right?
Yeah,
Be it field goal or take your shot at the end zone.
That's 4 first downs.
4 first downs
Think
on
of it.
every single drive.
Yep.
And they had, 8 all of last week?
Yeah.
9 all of last week?
Yeah.
And they're giving up 4 per possession. Now, they still rank, as Mace writes, 11th in the league in net yards allowed. That's because the Titans totally stink, and they weren't able to do anything. So it's kind of bringing it back down to life, or up to life, I should say.
Right.
But 4 first downs and 44 yards on every single possession against the Colts and the Chargers. That's not a confident defense.
No, and that's bend but don't break, but what if you break?
Mm-hmm. And then they broke in the fourth quarter.
Right, and that's the thing. And we can take the Tennessee numbers and that adjusts the season-long numbers. But here's the problem with the Denver Broncos. They can beat bad teams. What about good teams? What about their record? I heard the Drive talking about it last night. What about their record against winning teams? It's not great, Bob.
No.
So you're going to face a lot of winning teams coming up. Some losing teams as well. But, you've got to handle business against the best in the league, or else you're not a Super Bowl contender. So the real for the Denver Broncos is set to come through, but they've already dug themselves a hole with this performance. And I understand, Vance Joseph, bend but don't break. Do you have to bend as much? 44 yards each possession, 4 first downs allowed each possession. With the new kickoff rules, you're starting at the 30.
Yeah.
You're starting at the 35.
That's what I mean. You're getting near the red zone every
There's
single time
40
you touch the
yards.
ball.
You're you're inside the 10.
Yeah.
Or at least you're in field goal range. You're almost automatically in field goal range when you face the Denver Broncos, and that's not what you want to be defensively. You've got to be better. So I understand, bend but don't break. They held him to a field goal. Yeah, but in the meantime, they gained 44 yards, took a bunch of time off the clock, and still got points.
Mm-hmm.
While your offense is going 3 and out. You can't have both.
Right.
You can be bend but don't break. If this offense is, I almost said a word that I can't say on the air. If this offense is the snip, snap, snap.
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say. Then bend but don't break. Mm-hmm. Oh, but they got 3, but the Broncos getting 7.
Right.
And they get 3, but then Bo Nix gets 7. That the math doesn't work when your offense is like a turtle on its back and it just can't do anything. So, yeah, I think they need to kind of feed off each other. Whereas offense isn't doing it. Defense, we can't bend as much.
To put it into perspective of, all right, so if every team's averaging 44 yards when they have the ball against the Broncos, use that number versus the first 3 drives of the Broncos on Sunday, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 13 total yards. So if we're using those numbers, the Broncos in their first 3 drives had 13 yards. The Chargers would get 132. If that's the math, and that's what we're doing. You give up 44 yards every time you're out on the field, and the Broncos put 13. So after 3 possessions, it was 130, or it could be 132 to 13.
Yeah, on average.
How do you win football games like that?
You don't. And then you're fighting. It's almost like they dig themselves a hole in the game, like they've dug themselves a hole in the season. So that means if we fast forward this thing, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. They're going to dig a hole. They're going to climb out of it. They're going to get close, and they're going to lose in the end. So that means they're going to dig a hole. They're going to climb out of it. They'll be in the playoffs and then get waxed again. Does anybody want that?
No, that's not progress.
Last year, that was fun. Oh, my God, they made a wild card. Everybody, they're back. This year, you want steps. You want progress. Greg Penner has even said that to Andrew Mason. So give us the damn progress, man. And that means being better so you don't dig yourself a hole, so that you're more legitimate in the postseason when you're facing all those good teams that right now you can't beat.
Next number is 71. And it's 71% of the series in the final 6 minutes of regulation or overtime that have ended in scores or at minimum scoring opportunities when the Broncos defense had a lead or were tied. This goes back to week 13 of last season, where 71%, this is what you were just talking about, bend but don't break. Some instances they are not breaking, and you do hold a team out, but they have a scoring opportunity. 71% of those drives end in scores or scoring opportunities. That's the definition of breaking and not bending.
Yes, and Mace did it. He had it on Orange and Blue Today last night, where he took everything of every Vance Joseph defense with the Broncos, even as head coach, and he looked at the final minutes, right? I believe it was 5 minutes. So the final 5 minutes, 50% of the time, they're allowing a touchdown to win the game from the opponent. Wow. 50% of the time.
Whoa.
There's another like 20% where the opponent has an opportunity, but it's a blocked field goal or a missed field goal. And then the other like 30% of the time, math, they actually prevent you from getting in scoring position.
30% of the time they do their
But
job.
50% of the time you're losing. And if you add in that other 20%, it'd be 70% of the time they're having an opportunity to win the game. It's just they miss once in a while.
Right.
That's not what you want. Bend but don't break doesn't work when your offense can't score.
That's a very discouraging number there. 30%. 30% of the time they do their job. This ain't baseball. You don't get to Hall of Fame because you're a 30%er. Right?
This ain't Sex Panther.
Right.
60% of the time, it works every time. It smells like pure gasoline.
I'm not going to lie. My nostrils are burning.
It stings the nostrils.
The next number is 0. The number of times that Sean Payton coached teams have finished with a winning record after starting 1 and 3 or worse. So, Cecil, we said it. We had the whole social media video. We got another one popping today on Denver Sports about must wins that we were talking about with the Chargers game. Again, have a tough time calling anything a must win in September when people are getting fired or getting replaced. But, man, 0? So you're telling me if the Broncos lose to the Bengals on Monday night, there's 0% chance they're going to the playoffs. That's what history would tell us.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Scares the hell out of me.
And that's why, like, I know Sean Payton's kind of protecting this guy in his press conference. He's protecting Bo Nix, which is good. That's what a good head coach would do and should do. But at the same time, man, the internal pressure, we're not seeing any of it. We won't see any of it. We won't see it in the locker room. We won't see it at the podium. But the internal pressure is there to win this thing, to be the Broncos team that you can be. And that means a big win over Cincinnati. Not a close one. Not a, hey, you got by. Hey, thank goodness for home cooking there at Empower Field at Mile High. No, you got to get a good one. Get a good one this week. Get this thing back on track at a 500 record.
Last one, and this is certainly making me lose all my confidence in the defense, 250.3. Mason writes, that's the passing yards allowed per game by the Broncos since week 13 of last year. That includes the postseason, and if you go through that stretch, giving up 250.3 yards passing per game, Cecil, that is good for dead last in the NFL. Since week 13 of last year, the Broncos' pass defense is dead last in the NFL.
Okay.
That's a team with Patrick Surtain on it.
Yep.
Dead last in the NFL.
Defensive Player of the Year. That's a team with well-paid Nick Bonito, well-paid Zach Allen, well-paid Pat Surtain. Like,
you went and got Hufanga. You went and got, well, you got Greenlaw. He's just not here. He's not even a real guy.
You did get him.
Right.
He's just not out there. So
dead last. So in regards to our conversation yesterday, you were right. I was wrong. You're smart. I'm very dumb. You're attractive. I'm not good looking. I had to say that part.
Okay. Yeah. We've got a reputation out there. This show does. We're the best looking show on the Fan. Point blank. Period.
That's true. I won't argue that.
We get a lot of Bradley Cooper and Keanu stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I'll just say it, right?
Yeah.
We're better looking than Mike Evans, Mark Schlereth, Brandon Stokely, Zach Bye, or Philip Lindsay.
I would agree with you on that.
The hotties are on this show.
That's right.
Why do you think the Latina baddies are on this show?
We do get a lot of texts about Latina baddies.
That's for sure.
Share your guys' links. Come on. All right. That's what's happening with Mace's numbers column. Always love reading that, looking forward to it on Tuesdays. What did Sean Payton say to Bo Nix after watching the film, and how big of a deal are these missed deep balls by Bo? Find out from Sean next.